Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AI Legends, and yeah guys, today I am back with the next part of what if Naruto was neglected by his family and had the powers of Majin Buu. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys have been enjoying this series, and I'm going to make the next part of it, part 4 of it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. And yeah guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to this channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me as I want to reach 12k. I'm quite, you can say, I have already surpassed 11k, and hopefully I will be able to reach it to the end of next month. So yeah guys, if you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful. And yeah guys, I have also put the link of my Instagram within the description below, so please follow me on Instagram as well. And yeah guys, without any further ado, let us start the video. Last time we left off as we saw that how Minato finally with some convincing from Jiraiya and Tsunade after he realized that both Menma and Naruto were so easily defeated by Naruto, who did not have any training whatsoever. As Minato and Kushina came to the conclusion that Naruto was training at him, you can say, by himself, as Jiraiya was able to convince Minato that Minato was way too much busy with his Hokage duties and Menma and Naruto needed all the help they can get, and Minato should retire for some time. And after some convincing, he finally relented as he announced that how he was going to retire for some time so that he could train the child of destiny and heroes of Konoha. At this, all the council readily agreed with that. Seeing that third Hokage was coming back, even though you can say Minato was a good leader and all that, council did not like him much because Minato was keeping too much power to himself as Hokage, but third Hokage was a lenient leader, so they wanted him back for some time so that they can get as much power as they can in the limited time in which Minato was going to retire. And this was a golden opportunity to them, so they finally agreed to that. While on the other hand, Minato decided to train Menma Naruto along with the help of Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Kushina and Kakashi, who also wanted to help and repay all the debt he had to his sensei by training his hero children. While on the other hand, they, you can say, finally decided to announce at the birthday of both Menma and Naruto that how they're going to be the clan heads in the future of both the Namikaze as well as the Uzumaki clan. And with that, it made things way too much easy for Naruto as he was about to leave the village anyway, so it would be a lot better. To be honest, it has been really long time. He can easily feel he does not care for his family anymore. Menma, Naruto, Minato, Kushina, he does not consider them his siblings and parents anymore, as it was long time ago when his power started to resurface. All those feelings simply vanished as if they were never there. Naruto suspected that it has something to do with his powers, but to be honest, he did not care much about it. It was not like he had a loving family or anything like that, so he did not care. And now, after that, Naruto has finally left the village by leaving a small letter to Hiruzen, being the Hokage, saying that how since he was exiled from the both Uzumaki and Namikaze clan, and he was a minor as well as you can say just a civilian, so he was within his right to leave the village as he did so. As Hiruzen was quite, you can say, a bit surprised, a lot surprised at that, as he sent many ambos to bring Naruto back, even though he has left the village legally and all that. He was still a Uzumaki and Namikaze by blood, and he did not want it other villages to get their hand on him so that they can get, you can say, the Uzumakis and Namikaze clan in their village as well. But they were unable to find him. While on the other hand, the final battle between the Mizukage, the fourth Mizukage, as well as Metorumi was going on along with their forces, as Yagura was laughing as his forces overwhelmed Mei's forces by 10 to 1 as he was winning this all battle. Finally it was going to end and he was going to rule the Kiri with iron fist. But at the end of the time, you can say finally a single person landed and ruined his plan, as it was none other than who decimated the forces of Yagura within seconds, the power he possessed, and he was even able to evaporate the full body of Yagura as well as the turtle, the three-tailed turtle. So yeah guys, that was the last part of the series. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys have not seen it, please check it out. It will be in my channel. So yeah guys, let's start the video from here on. And let's start the part. As Midorumi was watching the whole battle, as she did not knew what to do at this point, the forces of Yagura were decimated. Well, not completely, otherwise the Kiri would be, you can say, the hidden mist village would be crippled for generations. But no, most of them were in utter fear. But those who decided to fight off this kid of only 8 years old was decimated within seconds as she watched and awe at how Yagura was, you can say, whole evaporated with a single blast of that energy blast which he had in his hand. As Midorumi was shaking, she was, if you can say, fierce woman. She was not scared of anyone. She was cage level dual bloodline holder. She was able to go toe to toe with Yagura, the fourth Mizukage, for some time, but still at this point, the whole forces of Hidden Mist Village was shaking with utter fear and immense power that was being radiated from a single child. They did not know what to say at this point or what to do. The Mizukage was simply killed off within seconds of the battle beginning. As a kid of only, you can say, 10 years old was able to kill off their own Mizukage, as all of them were really scared at that. But the kid simply looked towards all of them with a smirk on his face, and suddenly his body was engulfed with that pinkish aura as he vanished from the area, shattering the ground in which he was standing on, as all the shinobis were simply looking around. But then Mei quickly came to her senses as she said, "The Mizukage is dead. We won!" At this, most of the shinobis who were on the side of the rebellion forces started to cheer and decided to, you can say, announce Mei as the fifth Mizukage, even though they did not know what actually happened at this point, but they were determined to find out. But some of them were scared. Even the forces of Yagura decided to give up, seeing that their cage was dead and all that. As May still remembered the battle, as Naruto landed in front of Yagura with a smirk on his face, as Yagura was a bit confused as he said, "Who are you?" As Naruto simply looked towards him as he said, "I can sense another presence trying to control you, huh?" Quite strange, to be honest, and a bit intriguing. At this, suddenly Yagura's eyes widened as his eyes changed into that of the Sharingan as he narrowed his eyes as Naruto simply chuckled at that. And that was the, you can say, after that, the whole battle began. And it was really one-sided to begin with. Now let us get back to Konoha. Finally, all these years has finally passed. In this time, Minato was able to train along with the help of Jiraiya and Tsunade, as well as Kushina. With the help of that, both Menma and Ruko were able to control up to, you can say, two tails of nine tails chakra. Even though at the second tail they have a lot of trouble, but still, and they were able to complete, you can say, two steps of the Rasengan, and they were working on the third one. Though with the help of a shadow clone, they were able to complete the Rasengan. Only, you can say, Naruko had the chakra chains, but her chains were not as strong as Kushina, but still she was able to develop it quite greatly, as both of them were really proud of their, you can say, whole achievement. They were easily low tuning level with all of the training they have gotten, and even though, you can say, Tsunade thought that the only person who was a bit disappointed with the whole thing was Tsunade, seeing that both Menma and Naruko's, you can say, did not have the chakra control required for the healing jutsu, as Tsunade tried her best to show them the chakra control exercises, but both of them did not have any interest in it whatsoever. But still, they were able to complete water walking exercise, but kunai balancing exercise they were not able to complete, as Kushina said that how their chakra pools were still growing a lot quicker thanks to the help of the nine tails, and there was way too much waves in their chakra system, so they might not have enough chakra control for the whole healing jutsu. But Tsunade did not give up, but when she tried to teach them the basic of the healing palm jutsu, she quickly realized her, you can say, fault, as she saw that how both Menma and Naruko's chakra system has a lot of the demonic chakra inside of it, thus even and the demonic chakra in itself is poisonous, thus making them not efficient for healing ever in their life if they simply cannot remove the hatred that is inside of the chakra, just like Naruto did in the original canon. So, both Menma and Naruto simply cannot be medics whatsoever, but Tsunade tried to teach Naruko her super, you can say, strength, but thanks to her chakra control, she was not able to grasp it, but still, she was able to increase her physical strength, which was greater than that of Menma, but still, it was not as good as Tsunade, and she realized that Naruko will never have as good of, you can say, super strength as her. So Tsunade decided to leave to the hospital after 2 years of training, quickly realizing that none of them are going to be her successor in the art of the healing. She was a bit disappointed, but Tsunade decided to give her summoning scroll to Naruto, who was able to sign it. Even though the slugs were not happy after hearing that their specialty of healing through the link of the slugs was not able to be, you can say, used at that point. Considering that Naruto will never be able to heal anyone, and without the chakra supply to the slugs who will die with the touch of the demonic chakra, they will not be able to use the healing jutsu with the help of their summoner. As Tsunade also realized that, so Naruto decided to favor, you can say, the Toad contract over it, and had to sever the Slug contract, which angered Tsunade a lot. But still, she did not say anything at that. While Onditra and Jiraiya was pretty happy seeing that the Toad contract will be given to both of his grandchildrens, or godchildrens, while Onditra and Minato tried his best to teach both Manma and Naruto his fighting style, but it seemed that Manma was the one who was able to pick up his hummingbird style, which took him at least, you can say, 5 months to master. Seeing that he was quite, you can say, not as good of a prodigy that he was in his age, but still, Minato did not give up, seeing that both of his children has the personality that of Kushina. So he was, you can say, quite patient with them, and now he realized why they were not able to, you can say, progress greatly even with all of the teachers, even though they all of them were S rank shinobi, but still both Menma and Ruko are still kids and they have to learn at their own pace. So no matter how many shinobis are actually teaching them, they can learn so much. At that, as Minato sighed at that, but still he promised his wife that he will make some time to teach his children, and that is something he will keep. And Jiraiya was also happy at that, but Minato was thinking at the back of his head that he was forgetting something, but he simply shook his head. He has other things to deal with at this point. But now, realizing that both Manma and Naruto has also were able to master the Rasengan, but not completely master, seeing that both of them has to use the Shadow Clone for that. But he was still happy. Their training that of ninth chakra was going well with all the sealing and the chakra chains, and in all of these 2 years they were able to master chakra up to the two tails. After that, both of them always go berserk, and Minato did not want to risk it, seeing that they were still young and their body might not be able to handle the stress of using more tails of ninth chakra. As but even at the second tail, they fight like, you can say, berserkers, completely, you can say, forgetting all the training that was given to them. As Minato was not happy with all that, he tried to tell them that how he can use the healing properties of the ninth chakra and increase their physical strength, but Jiraiya was pushing that how they has to use the power of the nine tails and putting out the tails so that they can use it. As Minato did not agree with that, seeing that whenever they use the ninth chakra in the form of the tails, they always go berserk, or their fighting style, all the training he has given to them, simply throw it out of the window and did not use it, only using brute strength. But Jiraiya said that with time they will be able to handle it. So Minato had to agree with that, seeing that Jiraiya was his own sensei. So he reluctantly agreed to that. And now finally the training was over, and today is going to be the Ganin exams. And finally, their training has finally ended, as they finally decided to went off. Actually, Minato decided to increase the age for the Ganin exam so that he can train both Manma and Naruto to even more time, and now their ages are 15 years old. And yeah guys, I wanted to do this in this series because the things I have planned in the future, it would be make a lot of help. You can say if instead of 13 years of age, 15 years of age is required for the story. So yeah, don't worry about it, it would be making a lot of sense. So Minato has finally, you can say, trained both Menma and Naruto to the age of 15 for all of these 5 years of whole training with the help of both Jiraiya and Tsunade as well as Kushina. Even though Kushina, you can say, Tsunade did not help a lot, seeing that her specialties were that of healing, and considering that both Menma and Naruto have demonic chakra inside of their system, they will not be able to heal anyone in the in ever in their lives. So that was a bit of, you can say, disappointment, but they did not put a lot of mind into it. So yeah, finally all the things have finally ended. As today is going to be the Ganon exams, as Minato was really happy finally he can return to his duties as the Hokage. In all of these 5 years he was training both Manma and Naruto, as he saw that how both of them were really talented, but not, you can say, per se prodigy, but still a lot good. And he, as he finally arrived to his office in which he saw that how Hiruzen was sitting at the table and reading Ikaika Paradise. As you can say, Minato let out a small chuckle at that as Hiruzen quickly noticed Minato was there as he said, Minato, it seems that you have finally decided to end the training of both Manma and Naruto, huh? As Minato simply nodded at that, yeah, and I have also decided to relieve you that of your duties, but I can see that you are slacking off, huh? As Hiruzen let out a small chuckle as I said, well, Minato, don't worry about it. I have done my work, and I knew that today you will have to come here, seeing that how today is going to be the Ganin exams, right? As Minato simply nodded at that as he finally took the position as the Hokage once again as he said, so Hiruzen, mind telling me what was going on in the village in all of these 5 years? As Hiruzen simply nodded at that, well Minato, first of all, I would like to tell you your idea of putting the graduation exam, you can say graduation age a bit higher was a good idea. In this time, the Genis were able to be taught a lot better or one of the you can say their own elemental jutsus as well as the water walking as well as the tree walking exercise. It was a good idea. So do tell me how's the training of Menma and Naruto went? As Minato decided to explain that how they were able to handle up to the two tails chakra and how even though at the two tails level they decided to you can say throw most of the things they have learned out of the window and only fight like beasts, which Minato did not like. But Jiraiya said that in this time, in the you can say in time they should be able to handle more tails and with the power they should be able to handle it and they will get used to it and things like that. Minato had to agree with that. After all, Jiraiya was a sensei, so he must have known what he was doing, right? As Hiruzen simply nodded at that. And what about the Jutsus? As he said, well, they can do the Rasengan. As Hiruzen raised an eyebrow, oh really, Rasengan? You're able to taught them that? Really impressive. It took you 2 years and Jiraiya a few months, right? As he simply nodded, well, I was trying to teach them, but they did not had a lot of chakra control. And with the, you can say, a lot of exercises, they were able to keep the grasp of the Rasengan after 2 months of training. But even then, they have to use the shadow clone. But I think that it has something to do with the chakra control. As it was a Nari, they are only 15. Minato, don't worry about it. In the future, they will be able to handle it. But still, to be able to use the ninth chakra up to the two tails extent is quite impressive. As Minato simply nodded at that, that does give them a lot of boost, if I must say. As he simply nodded at that. And now, let us, as Hiruzen said, so are you going to do the paperwork now, huh? As Minato simply laughed as he said, well, not now. I want to see the whole exam going on. Did you put the whole tournament type thing there, didn't you? As Hiruzen simply nodded at that, well, your idea was good. And this year, clan heads are going to graduate. So the council members will also be there. As Minato simply smiled at that, so what are we doing here? Let's go. As Hiruzen laughed at that, as both of them teleported to the academy. As they finally arrived to the academy, as he saw that how the whole you can say the things were going on, as all the you can say council members were there who were a bit surprised to see Minato there, but they quickly put up smiles, saying that how the training session of whole the prodigy children of the Hokage was done and how they're going to show their skills today, as they were really happy to see that how Menma and Ruko and the whole exam began whole you can say the cage bunchen. Saying that they were not able to create clones whatsoever, they decided to master the cage bunchen technique, which was a great help to them. As most of the shinobis were impressed to see that they can do the cage bunchen jutsu, as Minato was also proud, even though it took both of them 2 days to master the technique, but still, that was quite the feat, seeing that it was a Jonin level technique. So Minato was really proud that it took both Menma and Naruto to make a shadow clone 2 days, as Minato was a proud father at that. And they were able to create so many shadow clones, as which surprises Minato. Even he was not able to do so many shadow clones. But considering that they were using the ninth chakra, so it was really impressive. Up to be you can say to be able to make over 1000 shadow clone at a time each was really impressive. And finally came the time as most of the clan members decided to use their jutsus, as Sasuke was able to make the fireball jutsu, as Itachi was really happy to see that. Or the man would have been happy if he did not had you can say simply massacre the clan, so he was not there. But still, Sasuke was able to you can say create a fireball, which impressive most of the, you can say, members there. After all, a 15 years old kid who has just became a Gani, it was really impressive to them. While on the other hand, the whole things began, and finally it came the time for Menma, who smirked at that and made a shadow claw, and then a Rasengan was formed in his hand as he slammed it at the boulder, shattering it apart. As most of the council members were impressed at that, a Rasengan, a air rank technique for a kid who was just to become a Ganin, was really impressive to them. And same was the case with Naruko, who was able to use her chakra chains as well as its Rasengan at the same time, which was also quite impressive to most of the people that were there. And finally, the exam ended as Minato was feeling as if he was missing something, but it was coming more and more. But he did not was not able to put a finger on it, as he was trying his best to think what he was forgetting, but his mind was not coming at something. As then suddenly Magma speak up, hey wait, Iruka sensei, who's going to be the rookie of the year? As Iruka said, well, the scores are already completed, Manma, so let's see about it. Well, it seems that Sasuke Uchiha is going to be the rookie of the year. As Manma said, what? How can he be the rookie of the year? I made more jutsus. As Iruka sighed, well, Manma, you may have passed the whole exam, but still, you can say you did not attend the academy, and these results are overall the 5 year progress and things like that. As he simply grumbled at that, as then Menma simply smirked, well, at least I'm better than that of loser of my brother. Where is he? I did not see him here. Did he quit in this time, huh? As he started to laugh at that, as Naruto also nodded, huh? I was looking forward to beat him after my training, but I did not see him here. Did he? You can say drop out from the academy, Aruka sensei. As Aruka was trying to think what these kids were talking about because he did not knew any brother. But come to think of it, well, all those years ago, a kid did attended the academy. That was for 1 day only. And after that, he did not came. Well, hell, he did not have the paperwork for that kid. And then suddenly it snapped to Minaso's mind as he remembered the son which he put all the blame on so that he can protect his Jinchuriki children, as his son Naruto was not there. Hell, he did not have seen him in all of these years. Where was he? He was in the compound, right? As he was trying to think what was going on here. And then suddenly he looked towards Hiruzen, who was calmly looking towards the matches as if nothing was wrong. And the kids decided to went off. As then suddenly Hiruzen felt a hand at his shoulder, but before he could say anything, he was teleported along with, you can say, Minato. As Minato also arrived there, as he looked towards Hiruzen, as he said, Hiruzen, where was Naruto? I was thinking about why he was not there at the academy and things like that. As Hiruzen blinked a little, as he said, what are you talking about, Minato? As Minato said, well, I'm still asking you a question. Where was Naruto? What, did he not attend the academy or did he drop out? Why didn't you tell me if he has decided to drop out? As Hiruzen simply shook his head as he said, Minato, what are you talking about? Didn't Jiraiya told you? As Minato was a bit confused. What are you talking about, Hiruzen? As Hiruzen was trying to comprehend the situation, he was sure that he has told Jiraiya, and Jiraiya did say that he has told Kushina about the situation, and he has told his spy network to keep an eye out for the kid. As I said, Minato, when you decided to train Menma and Naruto, after 2 days, I found a letter on my table. It was from your son. As Minato had a bad feeling about the whole situation. In this time, he was wondering if he can reconcile with Naruto after all of these years. Surely, the villagers must have let, you can say, go of their hatred and things like that, and they can be finally a family once again, even though Naruto has to be used as a scapegoat for the greater good of the world and the village as well. But surely the villagers must have let go of their hatred in this time, right? As as Hiruzen decided to explain, as he said, the letter said that how since Manman Naruto has been announced as the clan heir and he was the oldest child, therefore he was exiled from the both clans. At this, Minato's eyes suddenly wide open. At that, he quickly came to realization that was the clan law in Konoha. As he simply left the village, as Minato stood up, what do you mean by that? He left the village. As Hiruzen said, well, Minato, he was a civilian and went under no tutelage that of a clan, so he did had the right, but still, I did send some ambu, but they were not able to find. But I did told Jiraiya about it, and Jiraiya said that how he has told Kushina. As Minato was trying to think what was actually going on here, they have told Jiraiya. As I said, and when did you told Jiraiya? As I said, well, I did told him the next week when my ambu came back with the news that they were not able to find the kid, and Jiraiya did say that how he was keeping an eye out for the kid with his spy network, and he has told Kushina. As Minato was trying to think what was actually going on here. But before he could say anything, a knock could be heard, and then suddenly the door opened, and then came both Kushina as well as Jiraiya, as both of them were simply, you can say, chatting with each other. As Kushina said, "Hey Hiruzen, it has been some time." As Hiruzen simply nodded at that, as then both of them, both Jiraiya and Kushina, looked towards Minato, who was simply looking towards them with a serious expression on his face. As he looked towards Jiraiya, as Kushina spoke up, "Minato-kun, are you alright?" As Minato spoke up, "Jiraiya, why did you told me that Naruto has left the village in this time?" At this, as Jiraiya's eyes widened for a moment, as Kushina flinched a little, as he glared towards both of them. As Jiraiya said, "Well, Minato, you have to understand that we were training both Menma and Naruto in this time. The training was far much important for the jealousy of a single kid. Naruto was just jealous of the potential that both Menma and Naruto had. So he left the village, but I did told my spy network to keep an eye on him, but they were not able to find out about it." As Minato glared towards him even harder as he looked towards Kushina, "And why didn't you told me?" As Kushina flinched a little, "Minato-kun, he was my son as well. You have to understand that I was sad as well. But at the moment, Menma and Naruto were needed to be trained. If I were to told you, you would have, you can say, left the whole thing so that you can keep the position of Hokage once again and try to find out Naruto. But Jiraiya has already told his spy network to try to look for him." As Minato was now angry at that, as I said, "What do you mean by that? You knew that he was not living with us in all of this time, and you did not care. You were simply happy with the whole situation that you were training both Menma and Naruto. How can you do that, Kushina?" As Kushina said, "Minato, he was my son as well. You have to understand that at this point we had to train Menma and Naruto for the good of the world." As well as that organization Akatsuki was looking for the Bijus, they would have captured Menma and Naruto if they were not trained properly. As Minato was now getting furious with each and every second at that, how could his own wife and his sensei say something like that about his son? They were simply telling him to forget about Naruto, even though he had done that in the past by putting all the blame on Naruto, saying that how he was the Jinchuriki of the soul, even though Naruto was not a Jinchuriki whatsoever. And at this point he feared that he might have lost his son forever. As Kushina said, "Minato-kun, you have to understand, we had to train Menma and Naruto, a organization of S rank missing nin, while looking for the Bijus. They would have captured them. What would you have me do, huh? Letting my children be captured by them." As Minato glared towards her, as I said, "And what about Naruto? Is he not your son? And what if he is out of the village and Aiba or some other shinobi recognized him? He does look like me, and most of the other villages do know that I had 3 children, even though they might have killed him at this point." At this, Kushina flinched a little as she said, "Well, I had to make a choice, Minato-kun. It was either Naruto or both Menma and Naruto, and even you have to agree that both Menma and Naruto were far more important than Naruto could ever be." At this, as she shouted at Minato, as tears were coming to her eyes, as Minato was taken aback from this whole situation was only because of that damn stupid, you can say, premonition of that scene I old told about the whole situation, how the child of destiny and things like that. As Kushina mumbled something at, you can say, at a low voice, but Minato was able to hear this because of his anger. He was pushing chakra in his body as well as his ear. As he heard that, how as Kushina said, "Menma and Naruto are just like me. They're both just like me." As at this, Minato quickly came to realization as he clenched his fist at that. "So that's it, huh, Kushina? You favor them because both of them are Jinchuriki, just like you were in the past, weren't you?" At this, Kushina flinched a little but did not say anything at that. As Jiraiya speak up, "Minato, you're getting unreasonable now." As Minato glared towards him. You shut your mouth, Jiraiya. Do tell me if your spy network is keeping an eye out for him. So why is he not in the village right now? And did Jiraiya flinch a little as he said, well, um I did told my spy network, but they were not able to get any information on him. So as he was stuttering a little, as Minato was now getting angry, as even Hiruzen was looking there, you can say calmly as possible, even though you can say he has to agree that both Menma and Naruto are far more important than Naruto at this point, but still, he was the kid of the Minato, so even though Minato had to, you can say, push the blame on Naruto, but at that point, that was necessary, but it did not mean that Minato hated the child or did not love him or things like that. He was just important. Both Manma and Naruto were important at a, you can say, standpoint of being the children of destiny and things like that. So, as Minato simply, you can say, look towards Jiraiya. Jiraiya, you have at the time to the evening. I want a report on Naruto, a quick report. That is an order by your Hokage. At this, Jiraiya flinched a little, but simply nodded at that as he went off to contact with his spy network, trying to get some information on the kid. Surely his spy network must have spotted the kid at somewhere so that he can, you can say, put Minato's mind at ease as Minato simply looked towards Kushina. Just leave, Kushina. Leave for now. As Kushina simply nodded at that, she still had tears in her eyes. Why? Why can't Minato understand that how Menma and Naruto were far more important than Naruto, even though she has birthed the child, but still, just like her, you can say, nation was destroyed by the other elemental nations because they did not hear the prophecy or the premonition of the great old toad. No matter who knows what could actually happen, they can even lose Konoha if they do not pay attention to Menma and Naruto. Even though she loved her children Naruto, but still, both Menma and Naruto were just like her, and they were far more important than Naruto was. At this, she simply went off. Surely Minato will understand at time. As Minato finally slumped to his chair, as Hiruzen finally decided to speak, well, Minato, don't get too judgmental in the whole affairs, As Minato glared towards him, judgmental, you may say. You're saying that your wife knew that your children was missing for 5 years and she was just laughing beside you and she did not even bother to tell you, and your own sensei who had a spy network decided that it was more worth to train two children who was already being trained by three other S-rank shinobis than to look for one of his god children who was missing. At this, you can say Hiruzen flinched a little as Hiruzen speak out. Well, Minato, you do realize that the training of both Manma as, but before he could complete a sentence, as Minato slammed his face on the table as I said, I already know the training of both Menma and Naruto. There was nothing that I could teach them that Jiraiya sensei could not. It was all a waste, damn it. They were only able to master two tales of chakra at 5 years, Hiruzen. Do you realize what is the meaning of that, don't you? And it would take years for them to ever be able to master over 4 tales of chakra. At this, Hiruzen flinched a little. The Rasengan Jiraiya sensei could have taught them that, and they are not even fit to use my hummingbird style. Even only Menma was able to use it only to the limited extent. They were mainly focused on the Uzumaki things. They did not have talent for the sealing whatsoever, even if they are half Uzumakis. So don't tell me that how their training was important because there was not a shit I could have taught them in the years that Jiraiya sensei could not. So it was all a waste, damn it, as he slammed his face into the table, once again shattering it apart, as Hiruzen flinched a little, as he did not, you can say, came to the consideration that Jiraiya and that both Menma and Ruko had their own pace of learning, so no matter how many S-rank shinobis were training them, it will not matter whatsoever, and Jiraiya, as Minato was right, the Rasengan Jiraiya could have taught them the sealing. They did not have talent for it, but still Jiraiya could have taught them, and Minato was helping occasionally. The only thing Minato was able to train them in was the hummingbird style, which only Menma was able to master to some degree, not as great as degree. They did not had any, you can say, much talent for the whole ceiling. So the flying thunder god technique was out of the options to begin with. So there was not much that Minato was able to taught them in all of these 5 years at that. And Hiruzen simply nodded at that, who flinched a little and simply went off to do his own thing, while on the other hand Jiraiya finally came to his contact as he was able to only bring out one scroll as the contact was already dying out pretty badly, as Jiraiya was quite, you can say, surprised to see the guy who decided to meet him at a town nearby, that of Konoha. But when he arrived there, the man had a body brutally beaten to the point that he was barely alive and clutching to a single scroll. As Jiraiya was quite confused at the whole situation. Surely someone must have not captured Naruto because this information was supposed to be about his, you can say, runaway, jealous godson. As Jiraiya only scoffed at that thought, why couldn't Naruto accept it, the fact that how both Menma and Naruto were far more important and far more genius of the prodigies than he could ever hope to be, and he will never amount to anything compared to their own power. As Jiraiya simply scoffed at the idea, and now Minato was angry at him. Why couldn't Minato agree at the truth that was that how Naruto will never ever be comparable to Menma and Naruto, and both of them were far too important than Naruto. At this, Jurassic scoffed at that, but still he did told one of his, you can say, contact to keep an eye on the kid that deals with the whole Fire Nation. Surely he would have been able to be spotted by his contact, right? But when he arrived there, he saw that how a single person was there who was barely breathing and clutching to the, you can say, the scroll as Jiraiya tried to heal him, but the guy was already way too much off to be healed anymore, as Jiraiya simply shook his head as he grabbed the scroll that was in his hand and decided to open it. As Jiraiya was reading it, as his eyes were getting wider and wider, how is that even possible? As surely his spy network must have told him something like this earlier, right? As he quickly dashes towards Konoha as quick as is possible, seeing that his contact was already dead, as he finally arrived to Konoha and dashes towards the, you can say, Hokage office and quickly signaled one of the Ambu to bring Kushina, Tsunade as well as Hiruzen in there. As they finally nodded at that and went off, as Jiraiya quickly jumped inside of the Hokage office, seeing that Minato was still there. As Minato simply looked towards Jiraiya and saw the scroll, as Minato had a hopeful expression on his face, seeing that how Jiraiya was out to find his lost son. Surely he would have been able to find him, right? And that scroll must have information about him. As Jiraiya said, Minato, I have some grave information. As Minato was, you can say, expecting some bad news or something like that. Or considering that if Naruto was dead or something like that. And then suddenly you can say the door opened and Hiruzen, Tsunade as well as Kushina came in, who flinched a little by looking towards Minato. But Minato was not paying attention to them as Hiruzen speak up, Jiraiya, what's the information? Why did you send Ambo to bring us? As Jiraiya said, well, Hiruzen sensei, I have grave information. I do not know what to say about the information, but I have confirmed with one of my tours and they have confirmed it. So I have no choice to but to tell you guys about this. As Kushina was also fearing a little if something has happened to Naruto or he was dead, even though she has accepted the fact that he might be dead long time ago when after 1 year Jiraiya contact was not able to find Naruto. She grieved, you can say privately, for some time, but still, both the training of Menma and Naruto were far too much important. She simply cannot have another nation fall because she ignored the premonition of the great old toad sage, just like that happened to Uzushio Gakure. So she will not allow it. She will not have her children be stolen by the Akatsuki as well. They were just like her. They were both Jinchurikis. As so that was the main reason she decided to favor both Menma and Naruto, even though she realized that Naruto was gone from the village and she might never see him again and how he might be dead and all things like that. Now on the other hand, Minato said, what's the information, Jiraiya? Just tell me, alright. As Jiraiya said, well Minato, one of my spy network as well as my own tours have confirmed it. It seemed that out of nowhere, at the place where Uzushio Gakure once was, at this, Kushina flinched a little as wondering what he was about to say. Another nation somehow has appeared. At this, everyone's eyes widened at that as Surujan said, Jiraiya, be more precise. Be more specific, Jiraiya. What do you mean by that? Has some other nation taken charge of the Uzushio Gakure land or something like that. As Minato, as Jiraiya simply shook his head. You don't understand, Sensei. The Uzushio Gakure was at the center of the ocean between the Fire Nation as well as the nation that of the water. But it is not only that land, somehow new land has appeared there, and whole nation has been appeared out of nowhere. New land has been, you can say, uprooted from the sea and now is a part of the Uzushio Gakure, because you and I both know that Uzu was nothing but a small island nation, but it is no longer the case. It is as big as water and Fire Nation itself. At this, most of the people eyes widened at that. As Surusa said, Jiraiya, are you out of your mind? What are you saying? It is not possible. You're saying that somehow the land from the sea has uprooted to the surface and has joined the Uzushio Gakure land, and how it is as big as Fire Nation. No matter how skilled a person or a shinobi is in the art of the earth's trial, they can never do that. It is not possible, Jiraiya. And Jiraiya said, I do not know what to say about this, Sensei, but somehow this nation has appeared out of nowhere and they're calling themselves Majin Empire. At this, most of the people as Hiruzen had a, you can say, bad feeling about it. Even Jiraiya was wondering how is that even possible. Minato was expecting some news about his son, but now he has some other grave news about this whole situation. Kushina was the one who was angry because this nation who came out of nowhere has taken over the land of the Uzu as well, and she was not happy about the whole situation. So yeah guys, here I will have this part. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, the like goal is going to be, let's see, 350 likes and 220 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. And yeah guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. And please subscribe, and I have put the link of my Instagram within the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. It would be really helpful. And yeah guys, hope you guys enjoy your day. So yeah, guys, peaceful. And if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so as well. I want to reach 12k. It would be helpful. So yeah guys, please guys do so, and yeah, peace.